Hi, it's Ricky of Moshville Times here once again. Now, tonight I'm delighted to be joined by Birmingham death metal band As the World Dies. So tonight we've got vocalist Jay, we've got guitarist Scott and Ash, and we've got bassist Phil, and we cannot forget the drummer Chris. So how are you guys doing? Everything been okay during COVID and all that nonsense?
Yeah, it's all good. Just keep doing what you got to do. Go to work, write music, and keep your spirits up, I guess.
That's it. But it's good to see that you guys are all right. But obviously, we're not here to talk about COVID and all that nonsense. We're here to talk about all things As the World Dies. So next month, then, you're releasing your debut album, Agonist. So you must be chomping at the bit to get the album out there. So how have the reviews been for it so far?
Well, it's been going well, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty decent, promising.
Yeah,
just glad it's out there, finally getting listened to.
I think we've only had a couple of reviews. It hasn't been given out to many people yet.
Yeah.
So I think the majority of the reviews will come when it's been released.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's March the 25th, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I know my colleague Rick Eaglestone, he's got the album to review, so I'm not actually sure if it's already done yet, but if not, it'll certainly be out there in the near future. But I know it's very positive. I know he thinks very highly of you as well. I don't, but he does. So was there a possibility of the album coming out before March then? Has the album been ready for months and months, but due to COVID or whatever like that, it was held up at processing plant or something like that? Was caused?
It's a bit of a mixture of COVID and being in a queue of other bands to be released before us. Queue now.
Obviously, he must have had a backlog himself.
Pretty much both of them things have helped towards the delay of the album.
It's been ready for over 12 months, but yeah, there's nothing anyone can do about it. Just have to wait.
Didn't we?
So what you're saying then, the songs on the album then, how old are the actual songs then?
Some of them.
Two of them are 9 years old now, the structure of the song.
Yeah.
Me and Chris wrote back in the day.
10 years. It popped up on Facebook.
Is it 10 years now?
2 or 3 days ago, so they are over 10 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
And which two of them? That's Desolate
and Thin Out the Herd.
Thin Out the Herd,
Yeah, they're 10 years plus.
Scott's very active in social media, so I see that he's always playing with his guitar and stuff. Well, to be fair, it's better than playing with other things, I can imagine, but he plays with his guitar a lot.
Privately, I'll send you the link.
So I presume then that album number 2 is already in the works. Would that be a fair assumption to make?
We've got about nine tracks already,
Done.
Yeah.
So we just going to start recording.
Start arranging it, and I could put the vocals.
Fuck the vocals.
So what are you saying then? Is it best to just keep our money in and then just wait for album number 2 because it's better than album number 1?
No, because there'll be another 12-month delay on that.
Well, that's cool then. But so, how would you say
it's going to be a very different album.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How are the songs for album number 2 comparing to album number 1 then?
Heavy.
We wrote them differently. We wrote them together. Do you want to speak? Would you want me to speak? We wrote them in the studio, so they're more together as a band. And then when I get them into the studio, all the sprinkly parts will come that way instead of the sprinkly parts coming first and then making a track that way. The opposite of what we've already done.
Yeah, the first album is there's old tracks on there. There's brand new tracks on there.
Yeah,
but it was written over a long period of time, whereas this album's been written really quick by the 5 of us. So it will certainly have the influences of the 5 of us that are now in the band, and that I think that's going to make a difference. It's definitely going to be heavier.
Oh, I like the sound of that. I mean, I've always been into my old school death metal, so hearing things like that is just music to my ears. So I'm very much looking forward to it already. But yes, the Agonist then, I was going to say, where does it lie in terms of influences and sound? And do you think you found the sound that you've been looking for with the Agonist, or is the Agonist like an introduction as to what As the World Dies can do?
It's evolved, I think, again, because the tracks are all from different periods of me and Scott, especially. We've had different influences along the way. And I think with Scott, Memoriam came along 5 years ago now. So that had a very big influence on the way that he was writing music as well for the second half of that album.
But I don't think Memoriam...
but it's just the songwriting. Scott got into a real groove of songwriting because of the furious pace that Memoriam have put albums out over the last couple of years. He's definitely sped along with his writing. And I think that's had a big influence on it. So it kind of evolved. Did we get the sound that we wanted? Yes.
Well, I think we were more shocked with the sound we actually achieved.
It's more polished than we thought it was going to be. Good. So we worked with the guy Anthony in the Black Country. We found him pure by accident in the end. We tried a couple of other engineers. It wasn't working. We just didn't feel it. We handed it over to this guy, and he brought us in for our first listen, and we went, "That's it. It's done." He kind of found the sound that we didn't know he was looking for.
It was 90% there anyway from my studio.
But what he got, that last 10% was more than we were looking for. And we were very, very happy with it. In fact, we're going straight back to him with album 2. We're not going anywhere else.
Yeah,
it worked.
He knew exactly what he heard it.
One second, carry on.
No, that's absolutely great. If it's not broke, don't fix. No, that's not the phrase, is it? I can't remember the phrase, but I mean, if it clearly works for the band, then you've just got to keep on using it, but
he did a great job.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it a wee bit there. As the World Dies is not a new band; it's actually a band that was first thought about like 20 years ago. So, what made As the World Dies come back out to life now? What brought it back to life?
It was a mixture of things. Me and Scott have been writing for over 20 years. We've been in various different bands together. And along the way, there was an opportunity for me to go and play a gig with Memoriam. So that got me and Scott back in the rehearsal room for a little while. And as a result of that, we just kind of felt there was a lot of unfinished business, a lot of stuff we'd done over the last 20 years that with Scott's platform, it was probably time to put it out there. And these guys come on board just at the right time, really. Yeah, it was. So we knew Ash and we knew Bill from Pemphigoid. I'd done a lot of gigs with them with my old band, and Jay's been around since the 90s with us. A lot of bands me and Scott were in the early days. We were gigging around the scene with Jay. It just all kind of fell into place.
Yeah. So don't worry, we didn't notice. But were these guys quite easy to find then, or did you actually go through a number of musicians before you settled in this lineup, or were these guys straight on board? They got the whole concept very, very quickly?
Again, because As the World Dies has kind of evolved over a long period of time, there's been people go in and out of that, just different stages of that. And then these guys, they were active on the scene. So especially Pemphigoid, as I say, in a band I was in previously, we was gigging quite a lot with them. So our paths were crossing, and we just become good friends. And then when the opportunity arose, we did have another bass player and we did have another guitarist at the time. They had to leave for their personal reasons, and then these guys were just around. And
we had another vocalist.
And we had another vocalist as well for a while.
Who is actually on one of the tracks.
He is, he's still on the album. He's on Red Death. But personal circumstances meant that they couldn't commit, and these guys were fully committed from the start, and that made a big difference to us.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for your answers there. But talking about other vocalists, you certainly had a number of guest appearances from the legends of the death metal scene. So certainly a few of them is obviously Kam Lee, Dave Ingram, Gustav, Jorde. Is this something that you're going to continue doing, bringing in guest musicians or vocalists?
Because they're all like our friends of ours, and we're all, I'm 44 now. we've been around them a long time.
Yeah.
So why not? We've always wanted to have, I think, our first ever gig.
Had Dave Ingram.
Dave Ingram on vocals.
He jumped up and did the vocals for us.
Like a band from years ago, our first ever gig.
Yeah, when we were 17 or something.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And to now have an album coming out with him on one of the tracks, that's it's fantastic. There's just a lot of stories that come with that.
Share if you like. But Jay, how did you feel about that? Did that put you kind of in the spotlight a wee bit as well? Then you saying, I'm going to have to raise my fucking game here if Kam Lee.
I just told what to do, and that was it. No, it was good. It made me think. Right, I
pushed you, didn't it?
Yeah,
it did push. Yeah, it pushed him.
Exactly.
Yeah, to pick his game up after all the legends appeared.
You got someone like Kam Lee on your record, then you lift your game, haven't you?
I mean, it's absolutely incredible what Kam's doing. I think he's 55 or something, and he's still doing. He's been doing this since '84 or something like that. So he's absolutely incredible how he can keep his vocal cords going. And I think he's actually sounding the best that he's done in donkey's years. So
agree, absolutely.
So Jay, you've got a lot of living up to do here. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, he steps it live. He brings it live.
But with everything that's happened in the last 18 months and 2 years, has it made you guys look at the more business side of the band? Like you've maybe taken on roles of the band that you hadn't maybe done before, like marketing and all the merch and just keeping the general name out there for As the World Dies?
Well, Chris is a merch man.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, yes and no. I suppose we've all been in bands that have never had an album released, apart from Scott recently. We've always been at that level. We've always been at that, doing your own merch, doing your own gigs. So I suppose the business side of it comes from what Scott does with Memoriam and what being around Karl and Frank and seeing how they operate as well. They've all been in the industry so long that they give us a lot of support. And I think although we've took on a lot of those roles, we've got a girl called Sherry that does a lot of our social media and things. She's fantastic. She does so much work, so much unseen work for us. But that also pushes us. So yes, we do our own merch. Yes, we do sort our own gigs, sort our own rehearsals, all of that. But we've always done that. So it's actually a bit strange having somebody else doing some of the marketing for us for a change.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It gives us more time to write music. That's what I will say.
I was going to say, it must take a big headache away from you all, getting Sherry to do that for you. So perfectly understandable. But with the recording of Agonist, will there be anything that you'll do differently for your next release? And what would you say that you learned most from the recording?
The next difference will be the drums.
Yeah.
We
getting a new drummer.
Record them in the house or
maybe.
Yeah, with the drums on the Agonist, we did them here.
Yeah,
I've done everything
all in house
at my house. Everything, vocals a lot. Because I haven't done my whole way up yet, so I've got old polystyrene tiles everywhere, and it's brilliant. Soundproof, brilliant.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get the drums done at Firestorm Studios.
Yeah, we'll get them done first
with Anthony Wall again, and then it'll come to me again, and I'll do everything in house again.
Then we'll spend hours and hours trawling through it all.
Yeah.
And arguing and fighting with each other. Was it quite? No, and in fact, I'm going to come on to that later on then about negotiating what stays in and what goes out as a song. In fact, I'm going to come up to it now then. So how are the songs constructed in the studio or for the band when constructing new material and with band members having their own personal taste in music? How would you say you keep it all together? Like, for example, what stays in and what goes out of a song? Or is it whatever Scott puts in, that's it, that's the song?
With the first album, it was pretty much
done, wasn't it?
Pretty much, Scott wrote all the riffs, I did all the drums, and then we just built on top of that. As I say, second time round, it's been the five of us in a studio, so it's been very much.
I've actually said, Bill, Yeah. Give me a riff.
Yeah, it's influenced by the five of us.
It's been cool.
Been jamming, hasn't it?
Yeah, jamming it through, and Jay telling us what he needs for vocals to fit. So it's been a different process.
Then we ignored it.
Then we ignored it.
It's nice to pretend that.
And then when we bring it back, we'll bring it back to Riff Central here. We'll sit down, we'll give it a listen, and then it develops from there. But the second album, definitely written track by track in a studio, so it is different. The first album, Agonist, a lot of it was bits and pieces that we'd been doing over a long period of time, and we kind of pieced that together as we went. Certain riffs dropped out, didn't they? Better riffs come along, so it evolved, didn't it?
The Agonist it's a mixture
mishmash of all sorts.
It's like Devin Townsend, Gorefest, Napalm Death,
At the Gates,
Volvo at the Gates.
Yeah, it's all of them,
and it's all in. You stirred the big pot, and there it is. It's come out really well. But the second album, it's going to be more in the studio, in your face, and a lot more.
Relentless. There's more. Yeah.
Instead of just me writing riffs on my own and lads, you do this. You become a band now.
Yeah,
definitely become a band.
So do you welcome that, Scott? Like, with the majority of the Agonist, you're saying that you done a lot of the writing. Was it quite a lot of pressure on you? Was it getting to you at some points, or are you actually welcoming contributions from the remainder of the band?
No, I love people giving their input. It's the same with Memoriam. I write not more.
99% of the riffs, and then Frank will come and rip them to pieces.
No, he won't, because I write 100% of it, but then when they put their parts on top, the same as these guys, it changes. I wouldn't do that bass line with that riff. I'd follow the riff, the bass line the same, but Frank changes it, same as Bill changes it. In this, it's like, I wouldn't have thought of doing that, and that's what makes a band.
Exactly. I'm well aware that Ash is sitting in the back there and he hasn't said anything yet. So are Scott and Bill the types of guys that would send you a riff?
He's the shy one with massive hands.
So Ash, is Scott and Bill the type of guys then that would send you a riff at 4 o'clock in the morning saying this is the best riff we've ever played?
Scott does.
It ain't riffs I send him.
I can't record anything apart from on my phone, so it's just a big rattly noise. I can't do anything till I get it.
He just waits to a room and deafens us.
I'm completely tech-retarded. I can't do that.
I've got some nice rattly video.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But Jay, with you being the vocalist then, how was the recording process for you? Because being
hard work.
How many? We probably rewrote all his lyrics. It was very hard for me because I hadn't done any vocals for that.
Tell them why you didn't do any vocals for that long.
Why?
Yeah. Why have you been off the scene?
Because you're lazy.
I thought you were going to say your voice hasn't broken yet.
The last band I was in was a band called Monkey Leech, and we was 2006 when I last played. And then hooked up with Scott, and we started doing some little things together and what have you in the studios and whatever.
Naked.
And but nothing was materialising because he was obviously all Memoriam. And then, like I say, he got other people in to do As the World Dies, so I carried on doing my thing. And then I just got a phone call out of the blue saying, "You're going to be the singer out of As the World Dies." And I was like, okay, I can't really refuse that.
No, you can't.
So, So
I tried to get a bunch of mates more than a bunch. We've had them in the past. I can't do it either. I can't do all that shit.
I don't want musicians in, and it just didn't feel right, did it? It didn't work having technically gifted, but at the end of the day, we'd rather have our mates around us, and I think that comes through in the music.
If you've got to hang around in my house in a tiny little room, you want to be with mates, not with people.
Yeah. So I got a talentless bunch of friends.
Yeah.
It's basically, talentless.
Rooms should be a Rancor band.
Talentless idiots.
It's a live thing, isn't it?
But when we play live, we bring it live.
Yeah, it's built around live.
We don't destroy it.
You want your mates on stage with you. If you guys spend time with these guys, that's what you want. You want your friends around you. We've gone through a lot of really talented musicians.
You want a word that's
didn't.
different.
Well, yeah. But it just didn't work. This worked. The dynamic worked.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad to hear it. But back to you, Jay. See, with the recording of the album, how did you find it on you're saying about it's been a while since you'd done it, but how did you find it on your vocal cords?
I found it very difficult. Yeah, I found it very difficult. When I come here, Scott was just laughing when I was starting to do the vocals. I was like, oh my God.
They hadn't done vocals for...
they hadn't done it for a long time.
14 years?
Yeah.
14 years, not done a gig, and then, made him record an album.
In my hallway.
In his hallway. And I thought I could just go back in and just do it. You know what I mean? And no, I couldn't. And I had to really work hard, to be honest.
I did.
It was quite a difficult process.
Do it again.
It was fun.
Sore trigger, isn't it?
Yeah, but now I'm getting better and better and better to the point how I was back in 2006.
Who's told you that?
Come on. I am.
See, that's a misconception people have about extreme metal vocalists. I think it's just about growling into a microphone. It is not. There's a fuck ton of things more to it than that. You've got to train. So I'd imagine, I don't know if you sing in the shower or sing in your car or whatever like that to practice. But
shout, not think, shout.
We've got videos of him singing in his car.
We have got videos of him singing in his car.
I've got videos of him singing in his shower.
So I take it everything like rehearsals and things like that are done at Riff Central then. So how often do you guys meet up now that we can meet up?
We've actually just moved out of our lockup after, how long was in there?
2 years?
Was it 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years in the lockup. We've moved out because we're going into the new album. That might sound odd that we've moved out of a rehearsal play while we're going to do a new album. But
the tracks are done, the tracks are written, the basics of them are done, and we wrote them in the studio. So now is the time to step back from that. There's nothing really happening live at the moment. So for us, we can now concentrate on those tracks and get them written, recorded, and then we'll go back into the studio once we can start gigging again.
Yeah, I need to structure them now and put them into my studio. Get the guitars down, roughly, to a click track, and then Chris will disappear off to Firestorm Studios and do the drums. Then I'll get the drums back here, re-record all the guitars, all the bass, get the vocals on, get the guest vocalists in, sprinkles, and then that's keyboards, and it's ready to go. There's album too. Artwork is well on its way as well. Oh yeah, we've got the artwork already commissioned. Ferris is he's doing a grand job with it so far, isn't he? Yeah, kept the same artist.
So no, I was going to say that. Who done the art for you again for the Agonist?
Varys Otak, his name is.
Yeah, Varys Otak. We saw some of his artwork, like what he was doing. The album cover for Agonist was one. We just spotted it, didn't we? And the second we saw it, we just went, that's it. That's the one we want.
It had that right feeling, the feeling to it.
We just asked some questions.
We took that, and then we've commissioned, the second album is a commission, so we've given him a melting pot of ideas. And
some parameters.
And he's come back with, what he's come back with so far. It's looking awesome.
It's just what we wanted.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was actually...
We can use that artwork.
That's what I was actually going to ask. Like, what is it you give the artist so that he can then go away and come back with
we have like a bit of a concept. We've got a concept, and this one we've definitely got a concept. We had an idea of what we wanted, but now we're going to have the artwork before the album in a way, so I can look at that art and mold the album around the art as well. It's happening at the same time. So I've never done that before. I've normally, like with Memoriam, Dan Seagrave, Karl gives him the parameters for what he wants, and then I don't see that till the
unveiling.
About 6 months, I won't see it. I'll get the initial sketch. With this one, he works quick, doesn't he?
He does work quick, yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah.
He's a digital artist, not an actual painter like Dad gave, but that's how things are going these days.
Yeah,
he's on the same level.
That's
and that's helped.
Works.
Yeah, we kind of touched on the subject of lyrics there, so maybe with the Agonist, I don't know who done the lyrics then, but with you being the vocalist, do you write the lyrics yourself, or do you welcome contributions from the band for the lyrics?
So Jay writes the lyrics, and then we rip them up and rewrite them for him.
Jay has a habit.
Correct spelling.
Jay has a habit.
You have to have thick skin in this band.
Jay has a habit of putting 6,000 words in a sentence.
Yeah.
And you don't need to. And I've said to him again and again,
less is more.
Fuck that off.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. No, that's too much. Just do this. And then he has to rewrite them. And then he understands, oh, okay, I don't have to work so hard live now. And he don't get that. And why am I trying to put, because you come from a different background, death metal.
Yeah. Obviously,
more of a hardcore.
More hardcore, more grindcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then with the guest vocalists, all the guest vocalists on the album, they wrote those tracks. So Kam Lee wrote the lyrics to As the World Dies. Jeanette wrote the lyrics to her track. Gustav wrote the lyrics to his.
Much respect to Gustav, actually, for
Gustav nailed it, didn't they?
Big Deflesh fan.
Yeah.
And Chrissy.
Yeah, since we were kids, since we were teenagers, we were always on Defleshed, and then Gustav.
Yeah.
He's a good mate who's done me a good favour. So, and it's one of my favourite tracks on the album, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
He has to do it live, and he does it well.
He does it now.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
But I also imagine, Jay, like when you're writing the lyrics as well, you're picturing in your head how you're going to sing them. So if Scott was to, example, write a song with lyrics, it can sometimes be difficult how he's wanting you to sing it.
Yeah, we all come together. When I come in, I'll have it like, say, in a book, and I'll start doing it, and then he'll say, yeah, keep that bit. No, I don't like that bit. Scrap that bit. I don't like that bit. And then I'll go back and I'll do another retake of it, and it's just...
And then I'll scrap that one.
And then he scraps that one, and then he goes, yeah, I've got the proper one here.
Jay's done a really good job. He's had a lot of time off, and it's to jump in and get on the horse again and do it. It's been amazing. Because he's had mountains to climb.
Cool.
Yeah.
And he's
got battles, and he's got through them.
He's got through them.
Yeah.
And here he is.
And long may that continue. Long may it continue. So you've been signed to, honestly, Transcending Obscurity. I don't know how Kunal does it. It just seems to find bands in the underground, and they're absolute gems.
I actually went out and found him.
Yeah.
He didn't find us. I went and I asked him the question.
It was recommended by a few people. We had to look into it and approached him and said, look, this is what we've got. And at the time, he wasn't signing any new bands. But as soon as he saw some of the guest vocals on there, he was I've got to have this.
Which is a kind of a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
I've got to be, well,
of course it was.
Got to be honest.
We were in talks with another two, good talks with another two. But Kunal come back with the same answers we were looking for, what we wanted to do with it. And it made it an easy decision. Yes, he's a very good underground label, and we liked the feel of that. Yeah. So that's kind of what we went with. But he's a good guy. He seems to have a lot going on. But he's got some amazing bands on the label, so it felt like the right place for us.
Yeah, cool. So, is talking about the live front then. I know that you played a couple of gigs. I think. No, your first gig wasn't Bloodstock, was it? You actually had a warm-up gig before that, the night before?
Our first booked gig, and we thought we'd better do a warm-up gig just in case. Yeah. So we had a quick warm-up gig, and then just went to Bloodstock.
So it must have been quite a bit of an eye-opener playing Bloodstock. But who made the most mistakes?
Ooh,
It wouldn't be Scott. Scott, no, Scott.
Probably Scott.
That was me. The only mistake I made
was the set list stuff.
Oh yeah, we didn't play the right set list.
I was the sample man pressing the samples, and I pressed the wrong
all
one.
the wrong samples.
So we had to play the wrong song in the wrong order.
So I was about to introduce one track, and then I realised it wasn't the right track we was going to play.
But at Bloodstock, Ash never jumped off the stage.
No, we don't. No.
He normally falls off the stage, not jumps.
Splits his arm.
Yeah, and it was me. I made the most mistakes.
Yeah.
No, but it was.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, absolutely imagine. But with the state of the way that the world's in, like getting over to Europe and something like that, it might not happen for some time yet. And I think with what happened with Bloodstock, I think punters have realised that the UK scene is extremely strong. So maybe now is the time for a band like As the World Dies to maybe go out and do a UK tour. Is there anything like that in the pipeline? Is there anything that you can say?
It's got to be a good offer.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Possible.
We've all got jobs.
Yeah.
None of us are employed yet.
No.
So it's got to be a good offer to go out there, and it's got to be worth it to do a tour. And it can't clash with Memoriam.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird at the minute because Memoriam this year is looking really busy. So I've got to fit things between Memoriam gigs, As the World Dies gigs, home life, work, and I've got lots going on.
Yeah.
So, but if you get the offer, you get the offer. Send us offers.
That was a Moshville Times exclusive there. As the World Dies are available. But just make sure that you recognise that there is actually a country north of England and come up to Scotland. I'm sure you've all played there before. So you, even if you do come up to, since there have been gigs again, they've been very, very well attended. Sometimes Glasgow can be a wee bit picky, but since the restrictions have been lifted, the gigs have been well attended. And I would even say, if you had the time, go to places like Aberdeen as well, because Aberdeen and Inverness are just screaming for gigs. So you always get a good crowd up there as well, especially Aberdeen. So
Adam, we're waiting for the album to come out. It's because without the album out,
no one's heard anything.
No one's heard of it.
So Bloodstock, no one had heard a single track. There was nothing that had been released before we played that.
And we had the whole place nodding their heads, loving it.
Yeah.
But we need the album out to get the gigs booked, and then we're off.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that will happen. But what about the visual side of the album then? Is there plans for you to... And tell you what, we're going to get Ash to answer this one then. Is there talks of like...
Come on.
Come on.
That's if his big hands
don't be warm over there.
Show him the side of your hand.
So I take it the album's going to be released in various formats then, right? But what about the more visual side of the album? Has there been talks of you guys getting together and releasing a couple of videos as singles? Is there going to be any videos to coincide with the album release?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
There's been talks about it, yeah.
I suppose I did ask a closed question, didn't I?
I think sorry to take over. I think the image we've got of the video would cost quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Unless we get that video, we don't really. I don't really like these bloody lyric videos.
There's been talks of lyric videos.
You get the art and the hands around the artwork.
Yeah.
The lyrics are they're shit.
Really.
They're shit. They're boring the fuck out of me. I'd rather have a proper video, and
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
We're not fans of lyrics.
I think it's just money.
That's what it always comes down to, isn't it? But it's not something that you're adverse to. It's just when the opportunity arises. Who knows? Maybe when the album's out there and you get some money back behind the band, who knows? It might be something that you look at.
You don't get much off royalties to pay for it.
Aye.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a bag of sugar from your royalties. So I don't think a video is going to happen.
It's all self-funded, isn't it?
That's the thing with this band.
Yeah, we can't afford to spend that much money on the video we want when we want to get more records done and we want to write more tracks. That's
more important
that's
than
more
the video.
important. More important to us.
It's more accessible as well for us because none of us are, we ain't Steven Spielberg or nothing. So I might take it up. You never know. Something else I can waste my time doing. I reckon Bill should start doing videos.
He's not like his phone, is he? He ain't going to do videos.
Director, darling. I'll just get somebody else.
Director, darling.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. I've only got a couple of questions left. I really appreciate the time that you're taking out and talking to me here. I've only got a couple of questions. It's kind of one, maybe I'm showing my age a wee bit here. Believe it or not, I am older than Scott Fairfax. I know that. I know it's hard to believe, but
I can tell that.
don't be cheeky, otherwise we'll throw a few curveball questions in here. So don't be cheeky. So before the internet, then magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends, but now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for As the World Dies, for example?
From my own experience, magazines and all that, I never used to buy them anyway.
No.
We used to go out and watch Paradise Lost and they'd have a band supporting them, and then, I like they're cool. And that's how it is in my generation. I don't know about you two.
Well, it's different. It's different, but the only thing I miss really is going to Select a Disco Way ahead in Nottingham and just trawling through albums. I used to love doing that, and like the buzz of actually finding one rather than just clicking, one click on Amazon and it turning up the next day. I do miss that bit, but apart from that,
for the physical release, but for the magazines, internet's just as good.
Yeah,
it's cheaper.
It's more accessible.
Yeah,
the internet is more accessible. Anybody can a 5-minute lunch break and
everyone does it.
They can find
everybody. But with the internet, not to say weird, but any old shit can get promoted on the internet, and that's what's different. I ain't saying any names, but there's some bands that get a load of exposure and they're fucking terrible.
I would agree with that. It's also like dismissive as well. You can listen, you can go on Spotify or whatever like that, Bandcamp, whatever like that. You press play, and then after 10 seconds, that's shit, and you instantly dismiss the band. Whereas back in the day, tape trading, you would write a letter, you would send a £1 note in an envelope to a band, you would get a demo tape, you would listen to it and you go, don't know if I like that. But because you've invested in it, you would listen to it again and again and then make your mind up, But it's definitely a double-edged sword, I think. But it must be amazing for a band like As the World Dies to find out that you've got fans in Taiwan or something like that, or Ecuador or something like that. It must be amazing.
Who is he? I heard of him.
Can I ask you guys, how the fuck do you put up with this man?
He's easy. Just ignore him most of the time.
Nah, you don't. You all listen to me.
We don't listen to what he does.
Yeah.
We've got a
Thanks,
separate,
Ash. Yeah,
we've got a separate WhatsApp group. It's like a support group.
I can imagine. Yeah. But it's definitely a double-edged sword, I think so. But yes, so it'll be easy to see where your fans are coming from, and that's where you try and target and promote and get gigs if the world gets back to normal. But I suppose we can start off like another 40-minute Zoom chat, because I'm now going to ask about the instruments that you used to record the album, The Agonist. So we'll start off with Ash. What's your bass? What's your setup, mate?
What's your boat? What's my what?
I know it's a Scottish accent. I do apologise.
No, it's a breaking up.
Ah.
Well, you use my guitar on the album. Yeah. Grab that, Dave. Oh, sure.
Jericho. You got it.
Jericho. You got him? There we go.
Well, Ash,
everything's at hand here.
Right.
That's used my Jericho album, which sounds fucking great.
Old school.
What about pedals and amps and stuff, pickups?
That's all Scott's studio.
It's all my studio. I use my Engel as well. Engel for the guitars into my magical box of mystery stuff.
You're not going to tell us any secrets, no?
I can't tell you too much. But it was my Engel, and a lot of hard work and sweat and tears.
A lot of tears.
But we both pretty much used this one. There was, let me have a look. Where is it?
This one here.
That one.
No.
The
blue one.
Yeah, the blue one.
This one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Old one.
A Jackson.
Very nice.
Jackson Dinky, which I actually recorded a Requiem for Mankind on as well.
Very nice. Very nice. You always looking at the 6-string. You would never go to a 7-string, for example.
I only play 3 of the strings anyway. So I don't need any more.
Nobody needs 7 strings.
No, we're not into that. We're not.
Technical.
Musicians. We're just some old fuckers. Well, me and Chris are.
Yeah.
And he's the oldest.
He's the oldest.
They're all 50. 50.
49.
Yeah, you do what. I've got guitars everywhere, but those were the two that
were the 2 main ones, wasn't they?
Cool.
Decided to go on the album.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think there was one more. Let me just show you one more. This old Columbus Strat is actually on the album as well.
Yeah. Some of the plinky stuff.
It's an old, I think 1982 thing, and I've changed the pickup.
David Murray guitar.
That was on the album as well.
Yeah.
And just for some little plinky plonky things in the background and layers of stuff. That was
very nice. Very nice. Good. Thanks very much. Thank you. So what about yourself, Bill? What's your bass?
Well, I use a Thunderbird, Epiphone Thunderbird. Sorry, I use an Epiphone Thunderbird for the 4th time. And that's about it, really.
How many do you use, Bill?
Just one.
One bass, one on string.
Yeah.
I can see you though. You're definitely a 5-string bassist. You're definitely a 5-string bassist.
I used to be, and then I put them to one side and realised that I was only using one anyway. So I might as well.
You just couldn't afford to buy the extra string.
Any endorsees out there?
Cool. But I've always been interested to know, Jay, with you being the vocalist then, have you went through like a range of microphones and you've came across a microphone that you like the sound of, or you just give me an SM58 and I'll just fucking grill into it?
Live-wise, I always use a Sennheiser.
Okay.
Live, when I'm doing live concerts and gigs and that.
And why is that?
A Sennheiser. Why is that? Basically, it's my cordless mic, and I just don't like the cord, so I like to run around or do what I'm going to do on stage and
fall off.
Not worry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So in other words, you kept on tripping over it. Yeah. You kept on tripping over it, yeah.
He's old, his Zimmer frame gets all caught around it.
But if I'm just going in the studio just to jam out with these guys, I just use a SM58.
Yeah.
Just a basic hard nail mic.
Cool.
What was the album? What did we use on the album?
I'm not sure.
It's a Samsung.
Was it Samsung?
It was a Samsung, yeah.
It
was a Samsung. One of them.
Very
On the
nice.
album.
Very nice. So is that something that you're going to keep on, continue using?
Yeah, it's bang on.
Yeah.
For Karl and for Joe, really good. In my hallway, I can't have my hall decorated until the second album's done. That's the
Change the
problem.
sound too much.
Yeah, I've got a lot of polystyrene. No, 70s wall tiles, and they're just dead. It's great. And then I'd put loads of reverb on anyway, so it don't matter.
Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for the interview. I really appreciate. Oh, sorry, Chris, I forgot about the drummer there. Is as most bands do anyway.
All sorts of shit. I don't have anything that I
get Jay's nose out picture for me.
don't really have a lot that I use per se. Shell wise, actually a couple of different kits were used.
Okay.
So there isn't a particular shell that I used. So drumsticks, obviously we're on board with London Drumstick Company.
Okay.
Amazing sticks. So I used to spend a fortune on sticks. Come across London Drumstick Company. Love the sticks. So yeah, we've got some signature sticks through them guys. Pedals, I use DW pedals. And then cymbals, don't have a preference, to be honest. So just use a mixture of what I've got. But again, throughout the album, we use different ones, different sounds, and it probably comes across on the album. There's a whole mixture on there.
There's a sonar snare in there as well.
Yes, there's all sorts on there. It's what fits the track, really.
Yeah,
we had the opportunity with lockdown and everything. We had the opportunity to play around with different sounds, so that's what we did. There's probably 3 or 4 different snares on there.
It's the track, isn't it?
Yeah, there's all sorts.
So that's what I was going to say.
Annoyment of my neighbours.
I can imagine. I take it you've got quite a few ASBOs with your name on it. But you're saying about the you're saying about the different sounds. You're saying about the different sounds. Then was it a pain in the arse, like tuning the snare to different sounds to match the sounds?
No, I'm a lazy drummer. I tune my snare up so it's that tight, and it just stays like that. But I am a lazy drummer. So a lot of the sounds come by just experimenting. So a lot of the tom sounds on there, they're different on different tracks because we might not have recorded anything for a month. And rather than sit there and then tune the whole kit properly, kind of tune it to how you're feeling and how the track's feeling. It's probably not the most professional approach, but we don't care.
It works.
Yeah, it works for us.
I wouldn't say it's not professional. The album's got its own.
It's got its own feel.
Yeah, it breathes. You can tell it's the next track in the album instead of being a different band. It's spontaneous.
Yeah. No, I like it. And just a last question about your sticks. Are they particularly heavy? What's the weight of them? Are they like tree trunks, or what's the weight?
So
you have changed.
I have changed, but yeah. So I use 2 different stick sizes.
Yeah.
So I use 5B in my right hand and the 2B in my left hand, but I use my 2B in the left hand back to front, so I use the butt end of the stick. So it's not a simple case of just ordering a pair of sticks. I have to order 2 lots every time, one for the left hand, one for the right hand.
Is he always this awkward?
But yeah.
Is Chris always this awkward? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, fucking awkward fuck.
Well, listen.
You give me a what is tinnitus? Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Right. Bloody hell, man! Bloody hell! But listen, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I hope it's not going to be the last time that we talk. But if the review's not already out, it certainly will be going out on Moshville Times. I'll certainly continue to play on Moshville Radio. This will not be the last time that we talk. I can guarantee it. Make sure that you come up to Scotland when you gig, because I want to see the songs in the flesh.
If you can put us in touch with some promoters,
get the promoters, give us a nudge.
We'll do a Penfigoid as well, guys.
Yeah,
maybe Memoriam. You don't know if the promoters are all in the family tour, like old Strapping and Devin Townsend did back years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing. You've got to get people around you.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got the time, there's certainly a good couple that I would recommend, like Craig Law, who does Goddamn Promotions. You've got Hamilton Hunter, who owns a couple of venues in Glasgow. You've got Ivory Blacks. There's loads of places. So when you've got a schedule and things, give us a shout and I'll get you in touch. But definitely, you'll definitely get a good crowd when you come up.
Cool. Nice
one. Thank you.
Brilliant.
All right. So thank you once again, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.